Was it on your end or my end?
That was our end.
Oh, okay, cool. Let me know when we are live. Take two.
We are
Oh,
already.
beautiful. See, we're doing it all over again. All right, hi everybody. This time you can hear me. My name is Gumjaw, and I've got Misfits here on commentary.
I think I already introduced myself. I'm Misfits, another runner of this game.
So Mixed Bits has the honor of just sniping the world record or stealing the world record back from me like 3 hours ago. We've been tossing it back and forth. So this run is going to be hopefully my salty run back to reclaim that record. Hope you guys are in the mood for some cat puns, because that's what this game is all about. And without further ado, are you guys ready on time? Poker?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'll do a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go! Alright, so this is Cat Quest 2. It is an action-adventure RPG set in this wonderfully drawn world that you can see here before you. This game is made by the Gentle Bros, which is a 4-man dev team out of Singapore, and they are really, really awesome. So go support them if possible. Right off the bat, they are super cool. Anyway, as you can see, we are controlling two characters right now. We got a cat and we got a dog. When we are not controlling one of them, it is controlled by the dumbest AI on the planet. If it does anything, we are celebrating. We can, however, switch between the two whenever we want, and they have their own separate equipment. So what we're going to be trying to do is take advantage of those two different equipment loadouts to have one for moving and one for fighting. The cat is going to be our fighty character, and the dog is going to be our moving character. So this here is our little tutorial dungeon, and as you can see, rolling is the fastest way to go. So we're going to keep rolling, all the way out of this dungeon and into the main world. This is our first little waypoint that we're going to learn about right here. And that little sprite is the Navi of this game. That's Kiri. And with that, we are entering the main world. Ta-da. We'll get into the story later, but before we start moving in that route, I'm going to ask Misfits to tell us a little bit about this first detour we're going to make right off the bat.
So the first area that we're going to go up to here, we're actually going to hit a save spot. Typically, we're not going to save throughout this run because saving is slow. But we're about to run to a cave that's really far away, and so we're going to get the save spot so that we can die in that cave and wind up back here. That save spot is actually conveniently right next to the second area that we're going to be going to. The first is going to be down here, the Forsaken Cave. The Forsaken Cave has some high-level items here. Cat Quest has a leveling system like any good RPG, and items have levels too. Thankfully for us as runners, the items that we gather, there's no requirement on us to be able to wear anything. So we're going to get this here. This is a level 25 item, and we're just going to be able to wear it right now at level 2.
Okay, it's going to be that run. We were placing bets before we started whether this was going to be the RNG run or the good run. This is the cursed run. Okay, so like you saw that cave there, we're trying to lure those enemies out of the way and steal some treasure chests. Unfortunately, the AI has the ability to be completely invincible to enemy attacks, or just be dumb and walk right into them, because it has no pathing or no will to avoid stuff when it is when it is being controlled by the AI. So as you can see here, we are now forced to kind of go rescue our little AI buddy just to continue with the game. Off to a spectacular start. So we're going to just be real safe with this. Lure everybody all the way over there. Steal this. Let's see, that's actually good RNG. And now we're going to go die intentionally to get teleported over to our save spot. So right now we are on the world recordiest of paces. Kappa. Alright, so, as you can see, that death brings us right towards our next little location that we need to go steal some items from. This is the Desem Ruins, and while we get there, we are going to re-equip our spells, and now Cat has this super high level armor that's giving us a bunch of magic that we shouldn't really have at this point of the game. And we're going to be able to use our Flame Purr spell to kind of clear out the first act without much hassle. It gives us a lot of armor and a lot of magic, so our melee attack is still trash, but our magic is going to one-shot everything, and we can face tank stuff. Dog, on the other hand, has no items whatsoever, and is going to be pretty useless for the next little bit until we get into Act 2. The reason we do this Ruins here is because it has a set drop that gives us a Ranger Axe. The entire Ranger set increases our roll distance, and you can see us rolling all around the place, so you know it's important. Come on over here. So more roll distance means we're going to get through this game much, much faster. We actually go out of our way in one cave later on to try to get a Ranger item that does not normally drop along the storyline route. And if we get it, that saves about a minute. And if we don't get it, then that would be a reset point if this was an actual world record run. But since we've died already, kind of like twice or three times, all the pressure is off to get any sort of record, and we're just going to have fun explaining this game for you guys. So, unfortunately for you, we have found a very fast text skipping strategy. So we're going to be zipping through all the really great cat puns that is just throughout this game. So if you want to help reinvigorate or re-inject cat puns into this run, please donate with cat puns. Please talk in chat with cat puns. Please just send cat puns left, right, and center. And we'll try to make sure they all get read off so we can have a perfect run, if you will, to make this more enjoyable for everyone and bring it up to snuff with the rest of the run.
I totally stand behind the donation part.
More donations, the merrier. And also, shout out to everyone who donated for our incentive, the staring contest. We're going to have that right before the final boss at the end of this run. So get your eyes nice and, I don't know, lubricated for that at the end of the run. It is a legit staring contest, and you're all going to help me with it. Okay, so, two things we're going to talk to you about right now real quick. We're getting our magic. We're going to upgrade Flame Purr. Flame Purr is the only offensive spell, really, that we're going to use for this game. The only one that does damage. The rest we're going to get our support spells. And we're going to tell you a bit about the story so far. So, once upon a time, there were two kings, a cat king and a dog king. This big evil baddie came around, and they fell in trying to save the world from him, and it was prophesized that one day they would return. We are those prophesized returned kings. And at this point, we are basically being told by Kiri, hey, let's go touch base with our, your followers, the mages here, and now let's go get your throne back. So that's it. We're on our way. We're going to go reclaim the cat throne right now. That's it. Here we go. We are at the capital. And there's our usurper right there on screen now in the armor. He is Lioner, the Persecutor. But he scampers off before we can go fight him. So we're like, hey, we're coming to get our throne back. Be in my axe. So thankfully, our dog here has a good nose, so he's going to sniff him out, and we're going to follow the trail and see where this leads, and hopefully we can get our throne back. Gasp! Alright, so we've been ambushed, and we're here on this little island, and Lioner's like, aha, I've lured you into a trap. Fight my jesters. So we do. And now they're dead. At this point, we're going to do a couple things. One, we're not going to pick up that XP. Two, we're going to beat on Lioner for a bit, and this is kind of a plot point. We can't hurt him. He is completely immune to everything, which puts a bit of a wrench in our whole take back our kingdom plans. But the other thing it does is it refills our mana. The way mana regens in this game is when you hit something, you get some mana back. Isn't that great? So after a while of bonking at him uselessly, he says, well, you guys suck. Have fun dying here on this island. And then leaves. Fortunately, since we are the King's Blood, we can take this little underground path here, which leads us back to the mainland. Ah. Ooh. And we come across this big statue who tells us about the King's Blade, which is a weapon that can defeat any foe. And that's really heckin' convenient because we got a foe that needs some defeating that we currently cannot do on our own. Now at this point we're still super strong, and the only optimizations we can do really is hope all the XP lands on us or in the path between us and the exit rather than spilling out to a side where we have to run left, right, or center. And with that, we are back to the mainland. Da-da-da-da. Miss Bits, would you like to tell us a little bit about Kit Kat and the next little bit that we're going to be playing?
Yeah, so Kit Kat is one of our smiths in this game. There's actually two that we're gonna meet. Kit Kat is this really great character from the first game that allows us to upgrade our armor. Now, unfortunately, because we're speedrunning, we don't really care about upgrading our armor much, so we're not gonna use Kit Kat very much. That said, she is one of the bearers of this king sigil that was left by the kings who were cast into darkness or whatever. So she is going to say, hey, cool, I see you have the sigil now, so I'm gonna give you a trial, and if you pass my trial, then I'll tell you where one of the shards of the King's Blade is, and restore it for you, basically. So that's kind of what we're just doing now. We are following her. We have to hit each one of these waypoints, so there's nothing we can do to really make this part go faster. It's a bit of an auto-scroller, and we'll get to this trial here.
Alrighty. So in that little fight we just did with the 3 Firefoxes, we wanted to kill them in such a way where we don't pick up XP. And you noticed me I could have killed them right away, but I tried to like kite them a little bit. The boss of the first act is a red dragon, and the red dragon takes a lot more damage to ice. And since we don't have an upgraded melee weapon, we want to make sure we can use ice more than anything. So we're on a bit of an XP route right now, where if we do it well, we should be able to level up in that red dragon fight. And in order to hit that milestone, we need to kind of avoid XP. So we're trying to avoid as much XP as we can, and then in the next dungeon itself, we can kind of make up for anything and make sure we're at the perfect spot. So Kit Kat at this point, the story gives us the key to King Lionar's tomb. Not Lionar, Leonardo. There we are. King Leonardo's tomb. And we're going to go there right now and get the first shard of the Shattered King's Blade. And so this is a level 18 dungeon. We are level 9. Sure, it should be okay. Let's go. So there's a little puzzle here. There's a bunch of extra rooms and stuff we can do, but we're just going straight to the end. I want to not get any of that. As you can see, our XP is the blue bar on the left there. So we were right about to level, so we want to kind of avoid that as much as possible. That guy should die from the damage over time. And we're going to pick up this ninja katana right here. We're going to equip the ninja katana and put the ranger axe on the dog. And from now on, for the rest of the game, we are going to be rolling with the dog and switching to the cat to fight. The ninja katana gives us an extra plus 20% crit chance, which is super, super good. And on top of the existing 20% crit chance that we get normally. So we're going to face tank a whole bunch here, and then we're going to go get this XP, level up, and be able to refill our health, continue face tanking, and just spam more ice until the first dragon there is dead. And that was a pretty good red dragon fight, if I do say so myself. XP unfortunately kind of came in the wrong direction, kind of rolled backwards. So we get our first shard, and now we're Sanic. We get the ability to power roll, which is basically when we roll, we can, we turn blue and we do some damage. Ideally, you want all those little hedgehogs to have gathered up into one little circle, so you can blow them up with one flamethrower, but they didn't, and that sucked. So there we go. Yeah, there you have it. Miss Bits, tell us about Whisk Cove.
So Whisk Cove is one of the only optional areas in the game that we do. There is a chest in there that opens up only after we kill all of the enemies in the game. Or, not in the game, in the cave.
All the enemies in the game.
In the whole game. There is 13.9% chance that it's going to drop an item called the Ranger Vest. That vest, if you don't get it, you cannot get world record at this point. So it is our RNG check for the run. Let's see what it is this time.
It's gonna be a Ranger Vest because I mucked up the start already. Just to taunt me with it.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. Here we go. Ranger Vest. Oh, Ranger Cap. That's not terrible. Alright, well. Okay. Whoops. So we also picked up the spell Berserk, and my menuing is just going right down the drain here. So now with the dog has the Ranger Cap and the Ranger Axe, which means we are going to be rolling considerably further than we are normally. And Berserk is a spell that boosts our melee damage output. And this only matters because the King of the Dog Kingdom, the Usurper King there, is actually resistant to magic and weak to melee. So we're going to be using that spell whenever we fight him to lay the smack down, since our magic is not going to work. At this point, we are just following some story points where Kit Kat says, cool, you got the first shard, but there's another blacksmith who helped with the King's Blade. His name is Hotto Doggo, and he is going to be our next little stop on our magical reunion tour. So while we're walking there, Joker, do you have any donations or anything you want to say? And by Joker, I mean poker.
Sure, I would just like to mention that for the next run is Echo the Tides of Time. We actually have a bid war, not a bid war, an incentive for that run, which is to increase the difficulty from any percent to any percent hard. And we are at $20 out of 100 right now, so we still need $79 to fill that incentive. I'm sure everyone would like to see the runners suffer even more, as he said himself in the donation even. So we're missing $79. If you're looking for a snipe, that's probably good material. If you're looking for something to donate for with a small donation, that's probably your bet as well. Thank you so much for all your generous donations so far. All of them will go to save the children, to help. Thank you so much.
Cool. Misfits, you want to talk about what we're doing here with this fight?
Yeah, so we're fighting Lioner again. He's still completely resistant to all attacks that we have. So what we're trying to do is lead him down towards these red lines while we kill his jesters. That's just because of this next part. There's a scene that we have to get him over here. Normally he takes a long time to run down the hallway into those lines. So if we take the fight down south, we'll just instantly skip to the next.
Yeah, and for some reason, those red lines are completely impassable, and I'm pretty sure he draws attention to them as just red lines, like in character. So, but red lines. Strongest thing in Cat Quest. So now we have entered the Lupus Empire, the Dog Kingdom, and we're going to go find Hotto Doggo here. And it turns out he's not home, he's out looking for supplies, and that's unfortunate. So we're going to have to just go mosey over here past these guards, and they're going to say, hey, you're not allowed in. And oh wait, do you have a cat? Are we being invaded? And we're like, nah, he's our prisoner. And they're like, okay, cool, but you're not allowed in. So that leaves us where we have to go find some way to bribe the guards, and that's our next little detour here. While I'm doing that, Misfits, you want to talk a little bit about the fire staff that we're going to go get?
Yeah, so the fire staff is in a chest here in this next required cave. It is an optional item, but we are guaranteed to get it out of this chest. Wands in this game aren't very useful for us because they actually have our HP. But there is a boss in the game that we'll fight later on that is 100% resistant to physical attacks and can only take damage from wands, so we're going to need it for that fight. If we don't get it, it's fine. We do have a backup wand that we can get, but it makes that fight a lot faster, so ideally we'll get it right here.
And yeah, if you're watching me right now, we have just received it. We're going to get this dog bone that we were asked to go get for a merchant, and then we're going to mosey on right out of here. Don't need to do anything else in that dungeon. Try to avoid this little pangolin there on the ground. So we retrieve a dog bone for the merchant. The merchant gives us a bunch of dog treats. We're going to give those dog treats to the guards to get through into the Lupus Empire proper.
Isn't it great that the first thing you do in the Dog Kingdom is a fetch quest?
Amazing. Yeah, speaking of puns, where are those puns at? Guys, even if you're donating like $1, send us all those $1 cat pun donations. Send us the love. I want at least 10 Poffle puns by the end of this. Alright, so on screen you just saw Wolfen the Labrathor, who is the evil dog king that we need to go beat. And he seems to be ruling via fear and basically intimidating everyone. So whenever we beat up people, they basically go, oh, I can't betray Wolfen, and then we beat them up, and they're like, ah, you're all so strong. Here, I'll do whatever you want. So there's a very oppressed community. And here's Hotto. He is a samurai blacksmith hot dog aficionado. And when he sees us, he asks us to fight him, so we do. And he's got this little tornado effect around him called Force Woofer. And while that is up, we cannot melee attack him. And it really, really, really sucks. So what we want to do in this fight is try to get in as soon as we're available and try to get out as soon as it's up. Hopefully he won't shoot another one. Like that. Perfect. Cat died, but that is okay. Maybe, as long as... Oh, that's not good. We'll just let this go. Oh, you'll just leave on his own? Okay. That cactus decided, it's like, know what? You died at the start of the run. I'll just peace out. Beautiful. So we beat up Hotto Doggo, and he realizes that we are in fact the true King's Blood, and calls us over to his hut where he's going to explain to us how to get the second shard. In addition to that, we are going to be upgrading our weapons for the first time here. And we're going to dump all the money we have so far into our Ninja Katana. That's going to boost up its attack a little bit, and then away we go. In this game, you can upgrade your equipment in one of two ways. You can either spend money, like we just did, or you can basically get a duplicate drop from one of the chests that would drop randomly. In this case, what we did at the start of the game, where we stole 2 chests from the Forsaken Cave, we got the same drop twice, which is good. So it gives us a really, really strong chest piece for the early game, and keeps our head slot open for a chest we're going to open up in this coming dungeon, which might let us get some extra time save if it comes up. But it is a completely RNG drop. It's not really a reset point yet. Right now, we're not kind of at that, I don't know, refinedness of the run where we can say, hey, reset for this item, but it'll get there eventually. It is a very useful drop if we can get it. So hopefully, we get it. And I'll talk about it once we're there. But until then, we're just going to be fighting through this section. Those little stone orb guys kind of work like boos. They'll move away from you if you're fighting them, and they'll move towards you if you're not paying attention to them. So it's really kind of difficult to make sure you're getting them all lined up in the proper pattern and order. So this guy here, we want to push all the way to the back. All the way to the back. There we go. So we de-aggro the first 2, and we don't need to fight them in order to get this key. And then we don't care about them. And here's that random drop I was telling you about down the secret path here. We want a barred hat. Barred hat. Barred hat. I called that too. That's hilarious. Okay, so that staff is completely useless to us and a giant waste of time. Awesome. Onwards to glory.
We have people in the chat saying they're looking to eat some fruit, like avocado or a orange.
Oh, oranges are my favorite. I'm not a fan of avocados, though. They're a little rough on my stomach. Huh?
Nice.
I've got no. I need a live groaning audience track. All right, so we go get that other key, and away we go. Now we are going to go confront Wolfen, who has beat us to the second shard here. And this is the fight where you're going to see us use Berserk for the first time. We're not going to use any of our magic. We are just going to be using Berserk. You'll see us get bigger in a second here. And this fight, doing it optimally, is all about proper movement. And Dog is dead, but that's fine. He doesn't do anything anyway. So we're just going to beat down on Wolf in here with Berserk and make sure we're not getting hit by any of his spells.
These fights early on, when we're still very low level, even with our very powerful equipment, are very scary. With our life total right now, we will die in just one hit, so let's not.
Yeah. If you're playing this game casually, the Wolfen fights are probably some of the hardest fights possible, because you're not used to the timing. Also, this guy shows up after we beat up Wolfen, and he says, "Hey, haha, it was all an illusion. You guys suck. Please don't hurt me." And because the XP was over there, we're actually going to let him live. You can beat him up. He's got 1 HP. He's usually getting killed because we roll right through him. But he gets lucky this time. You can live. As we exit the Wolfhauser trial, we get ambushed by the actual Wolfen, and Hotto bamps us away. And we come up with a plan to go get that shard that was stolen from the Throne of Lupus, or basically Wolfen's house. His palace, if you will. Misfits, you want to talk about the canine and this next little detour we're going to be doing?
Yeah, so now that we've basically lost the second shard, we need to go grab it. And we're told we need to go over to the capital of the Dog Kingdom in order to reclaim the shard from the real Wolfen. But in our way is this elite group of soldiers known as the Canine. The route that leads over to the capital over there is actually guarded by a ton of canines that are here during this quest. We can go around them through a desert, and that is a safer route. But because we're speedrunning this game, we're just gonna go the risky route, and it's gonna be real high octane, so hold your breath, chat.
Yeah, so this is casually, you can do this, and it's like, you can fight all of them if you want. Everything in this game is soloable if you want. The trick about this is, when you're not used to the timing on all the spells, what I just did could be really daunting to get through. But with extra roll speed and just knowing the timing and knowing that you are safe, even if you're in some of those red areas for a while, is really makes it easier. We're going to sneak now over into here. This cave is called the Tomb of the Follower. That's the follower, that little jumping coffin guy. Say hi. And we're going to ignore him, de-aggro that dragon, and grab this spell, which is the most broken spell in the game, Gravaruf. One other benefit to having two characters is we can equip spells on the other character, and they have their own mana bar. Now, since Gravaruf doesn't take any doesn't do any damage, we don't need to worry about our magic stat. It does not scale off our magic stat at all in the slightest. So we're going to put it on dog, and whenever we want to use it, we're just going to switch to the dog, use it, and switch back to the cat to use our other two spells. So now we have a good mana efficiency to get us through this. Here's the Throne of Lupus. We're going to sneak in from the left to not aggro that one canine. And behold, here's the big bad. The reason the first two kings fell, that was Alias. He pieces out, and we're left to fight Wolfen one more time, except he's got 3 clones this time. But we're going to use Gravaruf, which is that circle on the floor, to pull them all together and kind of stack up our damage and make sure that we're getting essentially triple damage because they're all on top of each other. The clones only shoot little magic balls, whereas... Oops. Hey, guys. Can you come over here? Whereas the actual Wolfen will do a series of other spells. I need to be a little careful here. Everybody come together. Okay. This is truly the best run. Let's focus on not dying for a moment.
Going down in the game isn't the worst thing in the world. It loses about 20 seconds every time you do it, so obviously we want to not. But it's not a run killer for most.
Especially if it's dog that goes down, because the dog literally does nothing in all battles. Like, it just kind of rolls around. It may attack once in a while, so losing the dog isn't a big deal. But unfortunately, when you're switching back and forth between the cat and the dog, there's this kind of period where the AI is just standing there for a second and they're completely vulnerable. So if you happen to switch to the other character when the AI was in a weird spot where it normally would have dodge rolled or been immune, it'll just sit there and take it. And that's kind of what you saw there. I switched to the dog to drop Graveruff, and the AI, who is now in control of Cat, was in a bad spot, got hit, and died. A lot of getting speed in this game is about being kind of risky with your fights and trying to push everything to the limit, face tanking absolutely as much as you can, and just killing optimally. So obviously this is not the best run in the world right now, which is good. Takes off a lot of the stress and lets us talk more about what's going on. Speaking of talking about what's going on, Poker, can you tell us about, I don't know, what what we're raising money for? That's a good segue.
Sure. I would just like to remind you that NASA 2020 is going throughout the 2 weekends of June. This is the second one. We've also had one already. You can probably already see the votes on YouTube. If they're not there, there will be in a couple of days from the runs that already happened, obviously. And we are raising money for Save the Children. Since Save the Children's founding over 100 years ago, they have changed the lives of over 1 billion children. Save the Children works in 120 countries, including the US, and in 2018 reached 134 million children through their comprehensive programming and emergency response. Thank you so much for all of your donations, and keep them coming. We are just $22 short of $2,300. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, donate that money. Let's hit those milestones. Nothing feels better than hitting a speedrun donation milestone. That is like the hypest. So storyline wise right now, we are trying to find the 3rd shard now, and we followed Kiri, who tracked us, or kind of showed us where it is. It's actually just over there to the left across the lake. And tell me, if you were going to cross a body of water, what is happening here? Hold on. If you were going to cross a body of water and you were near a fishing village, what method would you use to cross said body of water? Miss Bits?
I think if I were at a fishing village that had boats and everything and I needed to cross a body of water, I would go and learn how to walk on.
Yeah, you'd go and learn how to walk on water. Exactly. Me too. That is what I would do if I needed to cross a body of water near a fishing village. 100%. So that's what we're going to do right now in this village. Now, in all seriousness, for whatever reason we can't take a boat or swim, we need to go learn how to walk on water in order to cross that tiny little span of water to the northwest of us. This is a callback to the very first game. In the first game, we come to this village, we talk to the governor then, and he teaches us how to walk on water. In this game, the great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson of said governor is going to try to rediscover the lost secrets of water walking so that we can cross about 100 feet of water and go into a cave. In a couple of the other rooms you've been seeing, we've been taking full advantage of Graveruff to pull enemies away from certain trigger points we need to activate. If enemies are aggro to us, we can't interact with NPCs, we can't use doors, we can't do a lot of things, and that sucks. So being able to drop Graveruff to like pull things away is very useful. So here's another tricky one where we need to go all the way to this corner to de-aggro that dragon, otherwise he'll follow us and then we can't leave, and that sucks. So we have our last piece of the puzzle now. We're going to go take a little final test adventure and learn how to water walk. Miss Bits, would you like to talk to us about this upcoming fight against the statue?
Yeah, so this upcoming fight against the statue is actually going to be our last fight with our current armor set right now. Our armor has been getting us by so far through the run, but you're going to see in this fight, it's no longer going to be suitable. This fight is very, very difficult because, like the first robot fight, he has a shield that will stop him from taking damage. But unlike the first robot fight, he also has a lot of life and will chunk our life by a lot. Now, we're going to use Graveruff a lot to try and pull him into the corners over here. because notably in this game, you don't actually have to kill the ads in order to beat the boss. All you actually have to do is kill the boss itself. So we're gonna actually try to not aggro any of the ads that are over on the left while we basically try and fight through this boss without dying. We're getting a little close right now, but we should be good. I'd say maybe one more cycle here. After we beat this guy up, the first governor is basically going to be like, hey, you beat that guy up, now beat me up to prove that you're really worthy. That fight is way easier than this one, and it's really inconceivable why they're in this order.
Yeah. And it's not like you fight this guy in the first game either, so it's not even just like a throwback. It's just for whatever reason, they're like, you just did that big hard fight, now have this little one more fight where I just kind of run at you and take a swing every now and then.
It's almost kind of endearing, but he's kind of a cool character, so we'll accept it.
Yeah, like, just look at his picture when it comes up on screen. He's the beefiest, most alpha cat you've ever seen. Look at that guy. Big mustache. I aspire to his mustache levels. Alright, so now we can water walk. Yeah. He basically says, cool, I've been guarding this forever, now my soul can finally rest. Peace. He leaves, and we are left on this island. The younger governor gives us a dumbbell for absolutely no reason, and we can walk on water now. Isn't that great? At this point, we're going to take a small detour from the main story and go do some more thievery. We're going to go to the super boss of this game, the Lonely Hedgehog. This is a level 200 dungeon. There he is, the most menacing enemy in this game. Level 200 Hedgehog that casts all the spells in the game. We're going to lure him down here, hold him in place with a gravel rough, and steal these two chests. So the super loot is in a chest that requires us to kill him, but these two are not. So we're going to take them. Thanks. And then conveniently, if you recall, we did not appear back at that fishing town when we left. But if we come here, steal this, and then quit warp out, we get to actually put back at the fishing village, which is like the perfect spot and right where we want to be. So we are going to now equip ourselves with our new Jester set. Yes, we look exactly like the blue Jester that was with Lionel before. And we're going to give our armor to the dog, just because we can. Normally, if this run was doing good, we'd have the Ranger vest on the dog. But we don't, so he gets this cool armor anyway, because it'll give him a little more chance to survive hits when we're swapping around in other fights. The most notable thing about the rest of the game going forward is our cat has no armor anymore, but has like endgame levels of magic. So we are way more susceptible to actually dying now, but we can... Let's try to not get hit here. Kill this guy. Perfect. But we can output a ton more damage of both melee and magic. And that's the third shard. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We don't get any special powers from that one. And we're just going to take our way, or make our way out. The run buns are having a field day. If you look over my left shoulder, there's potential for rabbits to show up. When rabbits cross over my shoulder, that is the blessing of the run buns. There you go. Keep an eye out. If you see the run bun, you have 7 years good luck. Alright, so when we go to put all our 3 shards together, we get whisked away to this 0 dimension here, and Alias, the big bad guy, steals all our shards, and Lionel and Wolfen start laughing at us like, wahahaha, you fools. And this is where the big plot twist of the game is revealed. Turns out, Lionel and Wolfen are us. Whoa. Yeah, so basically what happened was the kings of old didn't fall to Alias, they got corrupted by Alias, and that's obviously a big problem. So Kiri went to an alternate timeline and grabbed us from them, from that one, to bring us here. Why did she do that? Well, Alias can only be killed by the King's Blade, and the only people that can use the King's Blade are the kings. That's pretty bad when the kings are corrupted to fight with Alias. So we brought back... Kiri is apologizing to us now, saying, hey, I should have told you what was going on from the start. We're like, hey, it's cool. We're the good guys. And she's like, awesome, let's go save Kit Kat and Hotto Doggo, who are being, I don't know, like, talked down to by their shadow clones. They're really just being trapped in the zero dimension, making themselves feel bad. So we're going to go beat them up and free them. Misfits, you got any fun facts?
Yeah, I have a fun fact. So, from this point on in the run, we're basically kind of learning about the power of friendship. We're basically learning that, like, hey, you know, we're not so different, us dogs and cats. And that's kind of cool because we get to learn very valuable lessons about life. And so, with this lesson of friendship and togetherness, we decide that with the last bosses coming up here, we're just gonna murder them. Because that's what we do to our friends? Question mark? But that's a good fun fact about the game.
Yeah, so this game is basically be friends or else. That's the moral of this story. Be friends or die. A nice tale to tell your children before they go to sleep at night.
This maze here casually can be kind of annoying to navigate. Just a little pro tip, it is just a giant U, so that's all you have to do to go.
So as we exit the zero dimension here, we're dropped on this little island called the King's Paw, and unfortunately, since they took all our shards, we've lost all our kingly powers as well, including the water walking that we just got. You saw me do a little loop there between Hotto Doggo and Kit Kat. If you don't walk between them, you don't get the trigger to advance this quest. So you could walk to like the left or right of them, and then they'll just stand there, and none of the triggers, and you'll be looking around the island being like, what's going on? Why can't I do anything on this island? You have to walk directly between them, and then you can do stuff. Okay, so unfortunately, we're going to have to hit some guys here a little bit just to get mana back to get out of here. I'm going to grab this save stone to get some mana for the next one, because spikes exist. Misfits, you want to tell us about spikes?
Yeah, so there are a lot of hazards in the overworld in this game, spikes and lasers and whatnot. They deal percentage damage, so regardless of what our regardless of whatever our defense is, these spikes can be incredibly lethal. I've died here in this very specific room that we're in just to rolling over the spikes too much and not paying enough attention.
Meow meow. And like I've mentioned before, hello. And like I've mentioned before, like, we don't have armor, so getting chunked by the spikes still is even more threatening now, because if we're low, we don't have that armor on the cat to save us from stray hits that we decide to take. It really reduces our ability to face tank random shots. And, you know, like the rest of this game is, we are trying to face tank as much as possible. Storyline-wise, though, we talked to this statue, and it's inscribed, and it basically says, you know, it's not about what you have, it's about your friends that you made along the way. And we're like, that's really cool. Speaking of which, I remember how to walk on water all of a sudden. And now we can walk on water. It was in us all along. Now, unfortunately, we still don't have the shards. So that's kind of our next step. So we're going to go back and make a plan with Kit Kat and Hotto Doggo. And that plan is going to be, let's just go spy on them. Oh, wow. Okay. Roll extra far to aggro enemies. Good. There we go. So the plan is, let's see what they're doing now that they think we're trapped forever in the zero dimension. So step one, let's go spy on Lionel. Unfortunately for this section, we have to wait for Kiri to show up. There she is. Come on. There you go. Alright, perfect. So Lionel, despite being both minions of Alias, Lionel and Wolfen want to kill each other. So Lionel's plan is to invade Wolfen's throne through the zero dimension, because both their thrones are basically portals to the zero dimension. And now we're going to go spy on Wolfen. And Wolfen's plan is Basically, he knows Lionel is going to probably invade through the Zero Dimension, so he's going to set up an ambush. At the same time, he also drops some hints about the tomb of King Lupus, the very first king of the Dog Kingdom, and that there may be something significant there. So we end up taking that advice and going that way. At this point in the run, we are at the optimal movement phase, I say as I roll into an NPC. We're at the pretty much just moving from point A to point B, doing the quest stuff as efficient as possible. Say hi to Cthulhu. Say bye to Cthulhu. And then we're going to have 3 boss fights back to back real fast. Have a staring contest somewhere in the middle. That is not part of the run normally. And that'll be the end of Cat Quest 2. So we come over here to Hododoggo and say, hey, what about this King Lupus's tomb? And he's like, well, it's in the middle of the desert. And also, here's the key. We're like, cool. Thanks. He's like, peace. And we're on our way. Now, we don't know what we're going to find in the tomb of King Lupus, but if it's anything like the tomb of King Felongard, maybe it's some inspirational words that'll let us be Superman without shards. Spoilers, that's exactly what it is. Now, there was some brambles around the tomb, so we actually have to go through this little cave to get there first. Thankfully, since we're going to level up as soon as we finish that section, we can just face tank everything here. There's no way anything can kill us. And away we go. Does this look familiar? It's like the cat thing, but like mirrored. So we talk to this thing and it says, it's not what you can take, but what you can give. And we're like, you know what? That makes sense. I'm a king. And we get all our powers back, including the ability to Sonic the Hedgehog roll and summon thunderbolts from the sky when we crit. That is pretty snazzy. We have one more power we're going to show you right here. It's called the power to quit warp. Back all the way across the map to conveniently exactly where our next main story point is. It just works out that way, which is really nice, but we have to move away from our quest giver before we can actually take that for whatever reason. And at this point, we have all our powers back, and we go talk with Kit Kat and Hododoggo, and we're like, hey, so we need a plan. What's the plan? And they're like, kill them. We're like, cool. They're like, kill Lionel first and then Wolfen. We're like, okay. Is there anything else? We're like, no, that's it. Just murder. We're like, okay, sweet. On it. And that's what we're going to do. Such a simple game. Who needs complex plots? Square Enix, eat your heart out. So, Misfits, you want to talk to us a little bit about the Lionel fight and the wand and all that jazz?
Yeah, so the Lionel fight is the fight that we're kind of alluding to earlier in the run. Lionel is 100% resistant to all physical damage, so we're going to have to actually use this wand in order to actually deal damage to Lionel. There's going to be a lot of ads in this fight, and unfortunately, unlike the other bosses, you do have to kill the ads. We're actually going to try and kill all of the ads just coincidentally by using Flame Purr on Lionel and grouping them together with Graveruff. This is basically going to be the biggest culmination of all the spells and builds that we've been putting together here. This fight tends to be very, very scary too, since the wand puts us at half health, if you recall. So yeah, we're basically just kind of weaving in and out, using Flame Purr whenever we can, avoiding as much damage as possible because just about anything will one-shot us. Remember, we have 0 armor right now, and 150 magic and attack. That is what our armor set is giving us. Going through here, the dog will sometimes use these spells, so getting to use Graveruff there is very convenient. It doesn't use up his mana, thankfully, too, so it gives us just extra cast of it. So this is actually a pretty good RNG fight right now.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, if the AI reliably used their magic more, we could probably make this run a lot faster by giving like Freeze Paw back to the dog, so it could just use free spells and then manually trigger Graveruff when we needed it. But that's not the case. So here we are. In this second phase, he's got this big slow aura thing that he puts up, but Graveruff. So one enemy versus Graveruff has got nothing, so we just kite him around all day. This shield here makes us really slow, even our rolling and our attacks and everything, and it's just a big pain, but I think it does damage too. It's really, really strong, but it's nothing because we can keep him in place. So, thanks, Liner. And he dies. Blech.
Graveruff is OP confirmed.
Now, before we leave, we're going to switch back to our Ninja Katana, because that's going to put us to half max health. And after we leave this, we're going to level up, which is going to bring us back to full health. Storyline-wise, Kiri says bye to Liner, because actually Kiri was the guide of Liner and Wolfen before they got corrupted. So it's kind of like, you know, she was their friend before they turned evil, so it's kind of sad. Also, shoutouts to that guard for being in the way. Alright, Liner's dead. Operation Murder the Other Guy, go. We're going to roll on back here, and thankfully, Hotto Doggo has one of his little hot dog shops set up here, and we're going to go dump all the rest of our money into this Ninja Katana, all 14,000 of it, and that should put us from 24 attack to about 100 attack from this sword, so now it's really boosted up, and if you recall, Wolfen is resistant to magic, so we need that sword to be our main method of killing him. Now, like we mentioned before, Wolfen's plan was to ambush Liner's army, so this is that ambush that we're going through. We are not Liner, we are us, but nevertheless, his ambush ended up working out. We're going to just take a whole bunch of hits from the dog here as we make it through as fast as possible, and then take advantage of Graveruff here in this very high magic fight. Misfits, you can go on ahead and explain.
Yeah, so this fight is actually extremely similar to all the other Wolfen fights up to this point. Basically just dodge the magic. We can get one attack in before that ice magic spell goes off, so we'll be trying to hit that as often as possible. And he goes down really, really quickly because of how strong our equipment and our weapon is. In this next phase here, he basically calls on some ads and he's like, kill them or else I'll kill you. And they're like, yeah, that's a lose-lose situation, so I'm gonna leave, thanks. So he's like, fine, I can just do it myself. And he makes 4 clones of himself, which is pretty cool. We have to go kill the real one, which is actually conveniently always the same one. It's always the one all the way to the left. And that puts him into this final phase where he casts a ton of spells. The scariest of which being Celeste, which is that giant blue orb that you can see on screen now. We use Graveruff basically just to pull him away from that so we don't get instantly killed, because that spell is very, very scary.
That spell will murder us like in one hit. It does 23 hits in like rapid succession, and his magic is through the roof. Like one of those hits would probably just one-shot us. So it is possible that he drops that last Graveruff right where we spawn for this cutscene, and we can die in this cutscene. So we want to make sure that we are not in that area at that time. And that's Wolfen. Rip. So we come out, and now it's like, oh my god, a giant black hole is opened in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So we're going to go check it out. But first, you guys paid for a staring contest. So, you know, what's the fate of the world compared to a staring contest? So we're going to come over here past Permaha Beach, coming over to Northwatch, and we got this little guy. So, this is our donation incentive. I need you guys to participate with me. This dude here says, hey, you have formidable eyes. Could you lend me 2 minutes of your time? This is a level 100 quest. It is called the Epic Stare Down. I want you all to stretch your eyes right now. This is a participation event. All right, stretch your eyes, look into your, well, you don't have a camera. I'm going to look here to prove or do my attempt. We're going to have a staring contest. Are you ready? He says, I'm on standby, but I'm furry sleepy. I've got to stay awake. Let's have a stare down. First cat to blink within 2 minutes loses. So I'm going to be just mashing through text while staring at the screen. I want you guys to stare along with me, and if you lose, I need you to post in chat that you've lost, okay? Be honest, all right? Stretch your eyes. You guys ready? All right, here we go. We accept. I dig that enthusiasm, strange-looking cat. Tell me whenever you're ready. Are you ready, guys? Let's do it together. You paid for this. Here we go. 2 minutes starts. Meow. So I'm just going to mash through this. No blinking whatsoever. This is actually pretty hard to do because as stuff appears on the screen, it like my eyes twitch and they want to see it. My eyes are already blurry at this point. Oh, I'm gonna fail this so hard. Okay, staring directly at you guys, looking through the internet into your souls. This is what I'm gonna do right now. I need you guys to do the same. Stare into your screens and hold on. On the screen, you have these other cats coming in to watch our epic stare down. I don't know what they're saying. They're like commenting about who's gonna win or lose. I need you guys to focus on staring and keeping your eyes open. This is a participation event. This is the $100 donation incentive for Cat Quest 2 at NASA Marathon 2020. Thank you all for coming here and participating. Shoutouts to all the tech staff. I hope they're participating with this as well. My eyes are so blurry. Like, everything is just a blur at this point. I hope it hasn't ended yet. I can see more kind of blobs moving on the screen. You guys are doing so great. Keep your eyes open. Oh my god, this sucks so much. So it goes on for a little bit and everyone's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna win? I think the cat's gonna win. And then the other guy goes, wait, hold on, let me call Kit Kat. And we go, what, Kit Kat? And then he's like, aha, you blinked. And we lose. So if you made it this far, shoutouts to you. Celebrate in chat. You guys paid for this staring contest. I hope you did very well. And boo to Kit Kat. So we get a little sword for our trouble, and that was our little staring contest. Thank you for donating for that. I hope you had fun. Now it's time to do the final boss, and it follows nicely after this staring contest. We're gonna go talk to Alias here, and we get a little bit of time repeating, where he tries to corrupt us, tries to convince us, hey, you should join us, like the other guys, and just repeat this whole time loop. And we say, hell nah. And he's like, well, okay, fine. You like staring contests? How about I turn into a giant eyeball and we can have this fight? And we're like, but we're so tired already. So anyway, we don't need to kill these hands, which is really good. And his main body just stands there like a big dope. So we're going to keep the hands lured away. And you can use Gravaruf if we need to. Sometimes the dog will stick on them and they will just fight the dog off into some random corner. Sometimes we need to Gravaruf them away again. Hopefully we don't crash. Sometimes it crashes here. Nope, we're good. And that is the first phase of Alias done. And he says, aha, you guys are strong, but you can't destroy me. And then Kit Kat and Hotto Doggo show up and they're all like, hey guys, we're here. We're your friends. We believe in you. And we're like, yeah, we believe in us too. And behold, through the power of friendship, sword. The King's Blade manifests. We get a little bit more exposition, and now it is time to lay the smacketh down on this big giant eyeball. I'm going to tank these shots with Dog, and then here's some 10k hits. And Alias is down. Good job, us. Got our King's Blade in tow. We're like, yeah, we did it. Wicked. Friendship. Woo! And now it's time to go. But wait. Gasp. Storyline. Anyway, so after this point, Kiri basically tells us it's time to go. In order to prevent a big time paradox, she has to actually send us back into our proper timeline where we're going to forget everything. And that's very sad. So she tells us to meet us where it all started. Or meet her where it all started, which is right back here at the start. And that's the end. So we're coming up on time. As soon as the photo shows up on screen, it'll go to black and you'll see just a little piece of artwork pop up. So everyone gets all teary-eyed. And time. That is Cat Quest 2. I hope you guys enjoyed that. My name has been Gumjaw, and we got Miskbits here, who is still the world record holder. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the marathon so far. I hope you enjoyed the incentive. That's about it. And if you like this game, you can buy the Possum Pack, which is Cat Quest 1 and 2, on sale, like always. It's a really good game. A big update is coming out August 8th. That's going to add a whole bunch of new stuff. Just support this community. As you can see, Cat Quest 3 is going to come out eventually. Such a good series. Definitely give it a try. It's got local co-op as well.
All right, that was Cat Quest 2 with the amazing stirring contest that you guys paid for. I lost like... Yeah, I hope at least one person lost. Wholesome content for you today. I hope at least one person won. And right now we are close to closing the donation. We are close to closing. We're close to closing the donation incentive, or rather the bid war, for the next run. So if you'd like to snipe that in the last moment possible, then that probably this is probably a good time. Since right now, as for now, we are going to see Grimshins play on the usual any person category and not any person hard. We're still missing $79, so if you want to mess with Grimshins, then make sure to donate for that if you want a bigger snipe. The last one was for 73 for the stirring contest, so you know. I'm not saying I'm not trying to mess with you, but it is possible. You can totally snipe that incentive right now. But this is probably the last moment you're able to do so, as you know, we're gonna be closing on that the moment the run goes live. So you have just a couple of minutes of setup to do so. If you want to get that donation in. I would advise you to do it right now. As for what we're doing here, we are NASA Marathon 2020, going live over 2 weekends, fulfilled with speedruns for your entertainment, with a hope that you can support us and that way support Save the Children in any way you can. Either by donating or in any other way by just promoting the marathon, watching, and helping us grow. We have a report from Save the Children that I would like to read out to you, and then hopefully post the link in the chat. According to Save the Children report released this week, it was relieved that the most disadvantaged counties in the US are mostly communities of color and nearly all are rural, poor, and concentrated in the south. The bottom-ranked counties are also the same areas that are being hit hardest by the effect of the coronavirus pandemic. The county rankings in the third US complement the Global Childhood Report are based on 4 factors that cut childhood short: hunger, dropping out of school, teenage pregnancy, and early death due to poor health, accident, murder, or suicide. Among the more than 2,600 counties examined and ranked, over 90% of the bottom-ranked counties are rural, nearly 2/3 are in the south, and 3/4 contain non-white majority populations. Children living in bottom-ranked counties die at rates up to 5 times of those children in the highest-ranked counties in their state. They are also up to 3 times as likely to struggle with hunger, 14 times as likely to drop out of high school, and girls are 26 times more likely. National finding to robustly excuse me for a second, I think I'm having some it's good, but yeah, I think I'm back now. I think I'm back now. Back. Anyway, Betsy Zorro, Vice President of US Programs and Advocacy from Save the Children, had this to say: a child does not decide where to live, and where a child grows up should not dictate his or her future. We need targeted, new investments for the most vulnerable children who are being our nation and the world for years to come. Today's children are tomorrow engineers, nurses, teachers, firefighters, entrepreneurs, investors, humanitarians, and simply put, leaders. We at NASA Marathon agree wholeheartedly with this message and hope that you will donate to help Save the Children continue to pursue these goals. If you'd like to learn, linked in the chat.
त्यही त मैले चाहिँ धेरै पैसा कमाएर मेरो मम्मीलाई चाहिँ एकदम सहयोग गर्ने इच्छा थियो मेरो। यो काम गर्दा चाहिँ धेरै दुःख भयो, पैसा थोरै पाए तिमीहरूले यो औषधि बेच्यो भने चाहिँ तिमीहरूले धेरै पैसा पाउँछौ र अरू तिमीहरूले राम्रो पनि लाउन पाउँछौ, राम्रो खान पाउँछौ भनेर चाहिँ तिनीहरूले चाहिँ अब यो दबाई बेचेर आइसकेपछि चाहिँ अब पैसा धेरै हुन्छ, तिमीहरू आफ्नो घरमा गएर तिम्रो आफ्नो मम्मी बुवाहरूलाई सहयोग गर्न सक्छौ। त्यही त त्यहाँ पुगेपछि चाहिँ अब मैले सोधेँ कि तिनीहरूले यहाँ के काम गर्ने भनेर सोद्धाखेरि चाहिँ अब उनले भन्यो कि अब यस्तै काम गर्ने हो, तिमीलाई चाहिँ 1 लाख रुपियाँमा बेचेर गएको छ, तिमी यहीँ बसेर अब यही धन्दा गरेर चाहिँ तिमी अब 2-3 वर्ष यहीँ बस्नुपर्छ। मैले चाहिँ सोचेको थिएँ कि वस्तुहरूलाई मात्रै बेच्छ भनेर, तर मान्छेलाई पनि बेचेर चाहिँ आफू चाहिँ एकदम स्वार्थी बन्दो रहेछन्।
All right, I hope I'm good now. I have literally no clue what happened there. But we're back, hopefully. Machines are against me tonight. And I'm being told we're almost ready, so get ready for Echo.